Hey, what's up, everybody? Crypto. We're seeing a little bit of a pump today. Let's talk about it. XLM. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at XLM because this, where you at, XLM? Look at this. 13 and a half. Not 9 or 8. 13.5%. Whoa, what's going on there? Let's take a look. This is really, really exciting. 13%. Wow, that is a major bullish daily engulfing candle. And yeah, this is awesome. So we haven't looked at XLM in a little bit. So basically, what we have is very similar to what XRP is, right? And it's essentially we have a 1, we flag out for a 2, we have a 3, we have an A, B, C, we flag out for a 4, and then you can see this diag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Flag out for a 2 of wave 3. Remember, this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4. Now we're in wave 5, right? But wave 5 has 5 waves. So this is probably getting ready to ignite into a wave 3 of 5. So 3, 4, 5. But it's going to go probably, let's see here. If I pull up my fib levels, this is probably going to get up to $2. $2, yeah, that makes sense. And if I pull this one down, I mean, you're looking at almost $4. So and we'll talk. The real talk about targets comes when we're actually above the retrace levels, and those levels are going to be about 50 cents. So once we start clearing 50, 60 cents, then we can start talking about a dollar, 88 cents to $1.15, $1.64, $1.50. I mean, there's a lot of targets there. So we'll get there. But I like what I'm seeing here. And by the way, I have information about Trump and Epstein. It's my opinion, but I guarantee you have no idea what I'm about to say. Remember the B-2 bombers that went to Guam? Yeah, it was a distraction, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a diversion, actually. Right. So, okay, we'll talk about that. All right, but first, let's jump into the small time frames. Remember, this is the fog of we're at war, guys. This is not. This is literally World War III, but it's not with bullets and guns. This is with information. We're in an information war, right? This is this is dismantling the deep state layer by layer by layer, right? So, with the Epstein stuff, they're not gonna get away with it, right? You can say, well, why did Trump say there was nothing there? How come he said, why are you guys still talking about it? And then why did Pam come out? Okay, look. Let me ask you a question. What happened to P. Diddy? He got off, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He got off. Why? Because James Comey's daughter was the judge that was overseeing it. So what does that mean? It's a crooked ass system. So just a couple weeks ago, Pam was like, "Oh yeah, we have all this evidence and we're going to unload it. We have the list. We have this. We have that." Why would she say that? And then now they say, "Oh, we don't have anything." Are they lying to me and you? No. Smart people understand no. Who are they trying to confuse? The enemy, right? The B-2 bombers going to Guam. Remember that, right? This is what this is. If, again, this is dismantling the deep state layer by layer. P. Diddy got off scot-free. If they would have really released it and went after him, and let's say they arrested a few people from the list saying, "Oh, you did this and this and that," what do you think would happen to those people? It would just be another P. Diddy thing, right? They would get off. So I think that's partly why the FBI raided P. Diddy before Trump got in, because they wanted to get it over with before We'll talk about all that in a little bit, but let's focus on crypto. I just gave you a little bit of a teaser. There's a lot. Look, this is all reverse psychology. It's war, the art of war. Okay, think about the art of war. This is all playing out in a way where we can't understand it at face value, right? When you look at something at face value, like these talking head pundits, they don't understand the strategy behind each decision, right? Because think about it right now, the number one trending hashtag is Epstein. Well, how did that happen? Because of what happened in the boardroom when they talked to Trump and Pam Bondi. And do you think they did that on purpose? Right? See, they know how the news cycle works. They know how a football gets kicked off, right? And this is what it is. It's a kickoff, right? So at the beginning of it, Epstein was a far right conspiracy. Well, how do you take it from a far right conspiracy to a middle, to right in the middle where everybody's foaming at the mouth, wanting it, wanting it, wanting it? Well, you did what Pam and Trump just did. Say there's a lot of stuff there, and then say, well, we don't have it. And what that does is like telling a child, yeah, I got you a birthday present. I'm going to give it to you today. And then he, the day runs out, and he's like, where's my birthday present? Oh, well, see, what is that going to do? That's going to make the kid want the birthday present even more, right? So, and especially, right, there's a lot of people that do the opposite of what Trump wants. So if Trump says, oh, there's nothing there, well, his supporters know there is something there, but he knows his supporters are right, are on the money when it comes to this. But his adversaries or his opponents, maybe not involved with Epstein, how do you get them wanting it, right? So, because they do it the opposite. If Trump says he loves the color yellow, they're going to come out and they say, oh, we hate the color yellow, right? This is just what they are. They're Trump derangement. So he does things for specific reasons. People think they don't understand how genius it is. And it's, when you look at it at face value, it seems retarded. It seems like, well, wait a minute, you just said this and now you're saying this. I'm not stupid. I know what's going on. I'm being played, right? So, but do you think it's on purpose or do you think it's intentional, right? Anyways, there's a lot more to it. And if you really want to know the truth about what I'm saying, just go to Rumble, right? Not YouTube, because YouTube would never allow this. And my video might even get swapped. I don't know. But go to Rumble and type in X22 and listen to the video, right? They come out a video every day. That is really the light at the at the end of the tunnel if you really want to know the truth. And he's interviewed Don Jr. He's interviewed Eric Trump. So this guy, I mean, he's interviewed Dan Bongino. He's interviewed Kash Patel many times. Kash Patel, right? So this guy knows. X22. Go listen to that. But anyways, I just had to get that off my chest because it's really frustrating. It's painful when I see something being done for a reason we can't understand and people blowing up for no reason. I mean, I get it. But at the same time, we just have to, it's a show. This is a movie. We're watching it play out. All right? So, more on that later. But anyways, XLM. This is beautiful. We have a double bottom here. Right? We have a double bottom. And this goes beyond that. Why do you think crypto is taking so long? Right? Why do you think we haven't had regulations yet? Because crypto is basically a weapon for the central banks. Right? Think about what Trump's sons are invested in. DeFi, decentralized finance, which is the exact opposite of what a central bank stands for. Meaning what? DeFi equals anti-bank. That's what it means. So if banks run the world, what do you think they think about crypto, right? Why do you think crypto takes a long time? Why do you think crypto doesn't give a F and still goes up anyway, right? Because you can't stop it. And the more you try to stop it, right? Like, let's say I'm holding down a beach ball, right? My ugly looking beach ball, and I'm holding it down. I'm holding it down. What happens? Eventually, it pokes through the water, right? So, so the cloud over the price, right? Suppressing it for so long, what does it do? It builds up all the energy, builds up the energy, builds up the energy, builds up the energy, explodes. Same thing with Epstein, right? You put a big cloud over Epstein, and you have all of this energy getting built up in here, and you say, no, it's not there when we know it's there, right? And then what happens? It's just going to go, right? So it's got a vent. It's like Old Faithful, right? It's a geyser that's about to explode. Anyways, XLM looks absolutely phenomenal. So, number one, the reason why XLM is so bullish is because we are clearly in an uptrend, right? You could see we had our base, we had our expansion, we have another base. Where's our expansion? We need to get it, right? You're stepping up. You're stepping up. You can see the trend unfolding. Not only that, but if you look at the resistance line here, we have a cup and we're cupping into the resistance, right? Versus if you have support, if you're cupping down, that's bad. We are cupping up, right? So we want W's, not M's, right? So we have a W formation, and we also have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, impulse, break above the reaccumulation, cocking back like a loaded gun. Are we going to blast off just like over here? I think we will. I think it's going to be interesting. I definitely am an optimist when it comes to crypto, when it comes to the Trump administration and what they're doing. And in 4 years, if nothing happens, I will gladly come on here and say, yep, I was totally wrong. But I guarantee that, there's so much more to this than we can. It's very complex, and people don't understand that. It's not as easy as saying, here's the list, let's arrest everyone now and put them in jail. It doesn't work that way, right? There's layers upon layers upon layers, and you have to sort of dismantle it. But then why would they say, oh, it's there, but it's not there? Well, are they creating the fog of war? Are they creating the B-2 bombers going to Guam? Are they creating that for me and you, or are they creating that for the enemy, right? If someone robbed a bank and then the FBI comes out and says, yeah, we got the criminal, what is the criminal going to do? They're going to freak out, right? They're going to start squirming. And then they squirm, and then we watch them. We watch what they do, right? And then they come out later on and say, we don't have it anymore. We thought we did, but we don't. What does the criminal do then? Think about it psychologically from the criminal's perspective. Oh, I guess they don't have it anymore. I guess they never had it. I guess we're good. I guess we're scot-free. I guess we're cool. I guess we can move on with our lives. I guess I don't have to worry anymore. So what am I going to do? I am going to come out of my shell. I'm going to come out of my shell, and I'm going to do things as I normally would do because I have no pressure. I have no pressure anymore. Do you think that was part of the strategy? Right? So now the bank robber comes out of his house. He's going to the store. He's going to his girlfriend's house because he has nothing to worry about. Same thing, right? Think about that. See, all of these, I really feel like I wish I could be part of Trump's council because, man, there's so much. You got to read. It's all about strategy. It's all about deception. And it's not like they're lying. Like you say, oh, politicians lie. Well, yeah, they lie. But but most of them lie straight to our face. And they lie all the time. And that's true. And there's no difference with Trump, right? But the difference is, the difference really comes down to why. You know, are they lying to me, or are they lying so that the enemy can, you know, push and do something, right? And I go back to the bank robber example. So, anyways, it's really I'm just, you know, it's really it's really interesting. But let's look closely here at XLM. So, you know, nothing has completely changed yet until we can break this. We're still in this range on the mid part. So we have the bottom part of the range, we have the top part of the range, and we have all of this empty space right in here. So that's where we need to get to. And, you know, down here, I'm very bullish. Up here, I'm very cautious. And you say, why would you be cautious here? Because we're higher, you should be more bullish up here. Well, because that's when you go into the retrace levels. It's because we don't really know if this wave's going to turn into a more complex wave, right? Meaning, if this is a three-wave move down, and then we get a three-wave move up, well, now we have this. What this did was create three waves. So yes, we're bullish. We pump, 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 and that's what I'm expecting ultimately. But then from here is the big question mark. Do we get out, or do we have to go three back down and then go out? For example, W, X, Y. It's a more complex, a bigger three-wave move. So that's how I'm looking at it. So we don't know, right? I'm pretty confident that we will get up here. And I'm pretty confident we will break out. But if it doesn't work out, then the only alternative to what we see here is pretty simple, which is what? A or W, or we'll just say A, B, C, right? Something like that. And then break out. And that could totally happen. Just like over here, right there, right? So do we have to come back down at some point? It's possible, or we could break out. So it's tough, right? So what do you do? Well, for me, not financial advice, but I think this is all accumulation. Buy as much as you possibly can. But then when you get up here, you do not buy until you break out and it's confirmed. And even if you do break out, it could still technically be a flat, right? But, you know, and we'll get into that stuff later, but that's pretty much XLM. The important thing is you got the W look to it. You got the double bottom, right? And so we'll circle back. And basically, you know, XRP is in the same wheelhouse. Let's just look at Monero real quick. Monero is in the same boat as XLM and XRP, right? They both have the rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. They're starting to come out of their shell, right? So this is a big, massive range. This is years and years and years of sideways, right? So it's going to be powerful when it breaks. And look at the cup. You got a big cup. You got a handle. I mean, it's perfect. Honestly, it's perfect. So, and you can see we're chugging up here, right? So you can see the latest one right here. We broke out. We had the flat. We expanded. We're cocking back, right? We're trying to hold support in this retrace box, right? So it's looking pretty good, I think. You can see this doji here. You can start to see the base being formed. So to me, it looks like we should be ready to make a retrace. So that's what I'm thinking here. Now the question is, are we going to have an ABC, right? Or are we going to escape from there? Let's look at XTC is kind of another one. I think it kind of goes like this. So, you know, you're cocking back. Same thing, expecting a retrace. All right, let's get to XRP. XRP here. Why don't we? So exactly the same thing with XRP, right? You're cupping into the resistance. You created all. I mean, the bigger time frames. You know, I'm just recapping in case anyone's new here. If you are, welcome aboard. Hit subscribe. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I think to me, we're getting much closer, right? Because think about all the steps it takes to get there, right? You need a three-wave pullback. Do we have it? Yes. Boom, boom, boom. Is it complex? It is, because we have a wave here, we have a wave here, and we have a wave here. Do we have a move up? Yes, we do. Do we have a slingshot? Yes, we do. Do we have a base at the end of it? Yes, we do. So do we have a break above the base? Yes, we do. So we're good. I mean, we're on our way, I think, here. It's looking really positive right now. So, but remember, as long as we're in the range, right? We come up, we come down. We come up, we come down. We come up, you know. Is it possible we could still come back down a little bit before going up? Totally. And I would even expect that to some extent, you know, unless we come up here. If we come up here and start battling this, right? And if we pull back a little bit, it's going to be totally normal, right? And or even if we kind of break out of it, I would actually be surprised if we just break out like that. I would be less surprised if we actually flagged out. So, all right. So, yeah, I mean, it looks great. So one thing we can do is we can now take a trend-based extension because this wave here from here to here looks like it's bottomed. Whether or not if this is going to be an A and this is going to be a B and this is going to be a C, kind of like this, right? See how that is made. Let me show you the example with Bitcoin here. So you have, check this out, right here we go. So you have your expanded flat right there, right? All right, then you move up, and then look what you do right here. A, B, C, right? So are we doing that? That's what I'm asking. I don't know because it's kind of big. I mean, the size of the A wave is as big as the impulse here. So if that is an A and this is a B and this is a C, and you can kind of draw a box over it, right? So 1 ABC box, 1 ABC box, breakout, right? So I think that would be somewhere along the lines of the main idea. Honestly, I think that really is the main idea. Now, I don't know, are we going to flag out in here? Is it going to be a C wave and break out? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the way I'm looking at it. Okay, Theta. Theta is looking insane right now because it just looks like it's been beaten to hell, and it looks like to me it bottomed, and it looks like it wants to go back up, right? And to me, even though it's beaten to hell, it still looks great. Why? Because what did it form? It formed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, right? It formed a B. It formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with bullish divergence massively, right? So what happens now? So if this is a 1 year plus three-wave pullback, then don't you think we're going to at least get 3 to 6 months of upside, right? Because we had 3 waves up. How long did this 3 waves up take? It took approximately, wow, that was over a year, okay? And that was 400 something days. And now what about this 3-wave pullback? How long did this take from bottom to top? Look at that. Another, wow. So that was 468 days. And I couldn't quite remember what this one was. about 440 days or so. Okay, so 440. So you're looking at, almost 500 days of 500 days, three up, 500 days, three down. So you should expect at least 200 days of up, right? Well, why is that? Well, because when you zoom out, you know, there's really two ideas, guys. There's just two ideas. Either one, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, 1, 2, 3 B, and this is 1, 2, 3. And now we're no matter what, we're gonna go up 4 and then 5. So we still have more upside to go. Maybe even as high as over $1. Maybe like $1.30, $1.50. But then you come up and you come down for that fifth wave, right? Because we're not, if this is not an A, B, C, but rather a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you need C to finish. So if this is a wave 1 and this is a wave 2, and wave 2 is not finished because we still need another pump and then another dump, well, then that's the case. But then that, A, B, C. If that happened, then we know for sure, it's done. It's done. And not only that it's done, you probably would have back tested this area. It would be the most insane buy of your lifetime if you can get it, if that happened, right? Because from there, I mean, if we did break down again, then it would basically rule out everything except for one idea. Well, it's always two. Either Theta's going to die or it's this, right? And I don't think it's going to die. So then we go up, right? So you have a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, right? Very simple. The alternative to that, since we don't have 5 waves, we only have 3 waves. Now, I really wish this was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on some charts it is. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of because some charts we have 5, some charts we have 3. So which one's telling the truth? It's a little bit weird. But even aside from that, right? This is a flat. Okay, that's 3 up because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so A's there, right? Then you have B here, or I'm sorry, that B's not there yet. So we have 3 up. Okay, we get 3 waves down. Okay, and then we get 1, 2, 3, or 5 waves up. 3, 3, 5, or 3, 3, 3. Or it could be, sometimes it's 5, right? I mean, you can see right here, you have 5 waves down, right? You get 3 waves up, and then you get 5 waves down again. But it could also be 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and 5 or 3. So it's different, right? So kind of like over here, right? You have 3 waves down, right? You get 3 waves up, right? And then you get 3 waves back down. And then what happens? You go. So, if this is a flat, that's what I'm thinking. And then what that does is it turns this whole thing into 1, 2, 3, which is what I've been saying since the beginning of the YouTube channel right here, which is what? Theta needs a retrace. Now, we did go into a retrace. Technically, we did. But I think it's going to be even bigger than that, right? So, we go up or we go up in a correction, we come down, and then we go up. So which one's it going to be? It's got to be one of those two, or Theta's dead. One of those 3 ideas. Now, that's why I focus on the smaller, on the primary wave. Now, think about how long this wave has taken. This whole chart is years and years, guys. So think about how long this has taken. This started in December. So this wave, we've been going down for what is it? December to July. That's 6, 7 months. So we've been going down and down and down and down and down and down and down for 7 months. So do you think from a probability perspective that we're going to keep going down? I don't think so. I just don't think so. Now you could say, well, what about this wave? This wave went down. It took a long time. Well, it went down in phases, right? There's two phases here. There's this phase and there's this phase. But that was in the midst of a bear market coming off a major rally, right? So, and then we crashed, and then this and this is a correction of the crash, actually. So let's turn on the RSI. Just don't get why it goes up there. So the RSI is insanely beautiful. This is probably the strongest bullish divergence I've ever seen on Theta, for sure, for sure. I mean, I don't see anything stronger. Let's even go back here. Yeah, I don't see anything. This is incredibly strong. Why? And for what wave? It's this wave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 waves. You're done. You're done. You're done, right? So you bottomed at the third. That's where you bottom, the third. The RSI should bottom on the third wave, not the fifth, right? So RSI could be looked at as somewhat of a leading indicator. So you go up, and this is going down, right? There you go. So that's the 4-day. It's on the 5-day. Is it even on the 8-day? I mean, dude, it's even on the 8-day chart. I mean, whoa. The main one is the weekly, right? If you get weekly divergence, you better pay attention, because this thing is not playing around, right? I mean, again, look at that. You got a perfect 5-wave move. I don't see how anyone can be bearish right now unless they've been beaten up, right? Think about how many guys have been beaten up, beat up. Like, you got a broken leg, a broken nose, a broken ankle, right? I mean, so and then you're like, oh, we finally have a little bit of relief, and then boom, you get kicked in the nuts. So it's like, oh, no more pain, and you feel bad, and you feel bearish, and you feel like it's going to keep coming, right? But I assure you, I can't assure anything. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this isn't financial advice. For all I know, we could just die, right, and go to zero, and we lose everything. But if we remain rational, we can see that, you know, we have, first of all, a bullish weekly engulfing candle right there. You know, first of all, let's study this. Let's look at this. Look at this right here. So you bottomed on your third wave right there. You had, look at the week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 6 weeks of hell. Just down, down, down. Just completely showing no mercy, right? And then what did you do? You bottomed right there, right? So you came below these wicks, and you essentially had somewhat of a liquidity grab. Then the following week, you exploded right back up above the support. Okay, then you went sideways for a week, and now here's our new week right there. So what could happen? Well, we could come all the way back down and retest that as support again, which I think probably will. Maybe we'll have to look at the smaller time frames and see if there's a way we can get down there. But, you know, just looking at the weekly candles, you know, I think, you know, you could have a little bit of a stall in here. But then also I look at it like, well, you know, this could move up over here, probably back to this kind of this order block up here. Not really an order block, somewhere up at 80 cents, right? And then you can kind of come back down, right? But let's look closely. So the issue is on the small time frames, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows here, right? Because the issue I have is this looks kind of flaggy. It looks a little bit, I mean, it's definitely corrective. I just don't, you know, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. I don't like the formation, right? If you see the third isn't the smallest, so it's applicable, but I'd like my waves like this, boom, 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 right? That's much more, the third wave is bigger, right? Where it's possible that the fifth is just extended. So to me, when you zoom in here, right, and we're just looking at the way it looks, that looks corrective. But if you count the Elliott waves, it may not be, right? Because you have an impulse, you have a 3-wave move down, okay? You have this move up, and then maybe this is a 3-wave move back down. So you have A, B, C, or W, X, Y. So wave 1, and then wave 2 ended here, and it was a running flat. And now we're going up for a wave 3. That's very bullish, right? Or if it's not done, this could be boom, boom, and then come back down like that, right? So you have 3 waves down, right? You have the ABC in the middle. You can't really see it. And then you have 3 waves back down, and then you go up. So that would be an interesting setup. Otherwise, this is just nothing more than an A, B, C. You have 3 waves up, and you're about to get 3 waves down, and then you go up in 5 or 3. That's another way you can look at it. So, you know, again, it's just a waiting game. We're in a pressure cooker here, right? You can see where we're at. We're right in this level, and as long as we maintain this level without going back in this deviation down here, you know, we have a real shot at getting a retrace. And based on the way XRP XLM looks, you know, I'm a little upset that I did not have an XLM trade open. I have XLM hodling, but I did not have an XLM trade open. It's okay. But dog, you know, weird shape. You know, because it started off as a triangle, I think. A, B, C, D, E. You have a triangle, right? And you break above the triangle. So and then you made a slightly higher high. Is there bullish? I'm sure there's bearish divergence. Yep, look at the bearish divergence there. So it's okay, right? You know, because it's kind of like you come down, you range, and then you continue down. So same thing here. You come up, you range, and then you continue up, right? So you could see the little bit of a shoulder ahead and inverse here on this interesting altcoin. That is very interesting, right? It's like you have a 1, a 2, literally at the same spot. So the big question is, you have an impulse, right? And this goes back to XRP XLM. Is this 3 waves in ABC, it's done? Or is it 3 up and then you get 3 down and then you go and it becomes a bigger 3? We don't know, right? I should change my YouTube channel to the bigger 3, right? Because I'm always referencing, you know, more complex structures that could potentially happen. Because, you know, Elliott wave, you know, 3 waves, right? And then you go up. Or you get 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, and then you go up. So it's just a different way. All right, I think that's pretty much it. You know, let's take a look at Bitcoin. I don't want to keep this video too long. I pretty much said what I said about the Epstein stuff. Again, I think it's just the fog of war, and there's a lot of complexity to it. So and it bothers me because I'm in a couple groups, and then someone says, "Oh, well, Trump's not our friend. He's the bad guy now." It's like, dude, really? He does all of this stuff, the illegal immigration, all of these things, and he says that one thing, and now he's the bad guy. Oh, it just doesn't make, like, man, like, you are so hard to please, right? And sometimes these military generals aren't looked as good guys in the fog of war for reasons they don't understand until you get to the end of the movie and you're like, oh, that's why he did that, because he had to do this to get there. See, that guy, he didn't know that, and he thought he was bad, right? So it's just frustrating, you know, because I really feel for him, man. I do. But you could say, well, he did it to himself. Well, every move I think he does is intentional for some reason. Maybe we can figure out, maybe we don't know. And you say, well, you're just putting a lot of faith. Well, I have to have faith. I do. I had no faith in Joe Biden. I have extreme faith in President Trump. And I'm not trying to be political, but at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. It's all about the money. It's all about crypto. Because what do you think Epstein is about? It's about money, right? It's about money and power, right? And yes, all the other terrible things that I won't say on my channel, but it's, and then what is money about? Central banks. What is central banks about? Right? It all comes down to crypto. I mean, that's what it's about. So this is really the centerpiece of the planet right now, is money and energy, right? Central banks control all the money. All the money controls all the energy. All the energy controls us like puppets, right? That's why you have a meter on your house. You have a meter in your car. You have a meter in your heartbeat. You can only beat so many times, right, before you die. Every aspect of our life has a meter on it, right? There's no limit. We don't have unlimited energy, unlimited money, unlimited power, unlimited everything, right? Because then they can't control you, right? If so think about if Africa had unlimited energy, unlimited, meaning they didn't need oil, they didn't need gas, they didn't need anything. They just basically have a generator that abstracts energy, and they have unlimited. Think about how powerful they would be, right? And then I'm going to make it even more crazy right now. Think about why UFOs and aliens and all that crazy stuff, right? Think about why that stuff is so secretive. Because it's not because of aliens, it's because of the technology. If I came out with a generator that can replace oil, gas, solar, nuclear, wind, all the other crap, coal, right? All that stuff doesn't work. It's all ancient technology. I mean, we put a man on the moon supposedly in the 60s, right? We invented AI, right? Extreme technology. But we're still using oil back in the 1900s. So, I mean, come on. Do you really think we don't have anything else? We do. But we don't let it out. Why? Because we don't want to give people unlimited energy. But also, if alien technology was ever disclosed, it would be the end of oil, the end of gas, the end of the... And what did Trump say? Oil is the lifeblood of our economy. So if there was no need for oil, Texas would fall. They would go into a major recession, a major depression all around the world. A lot of people would starve, and a lot of people would go home. It would be a disaster. But I think it's just like the dinosaurs, right? You kind of need a disaster in order to evolve as a species, right? Otherwise, we're just going to keep using oil forever and ever and ever. And we're content. I'm content using it. we're content with our lives. But I'm just saying that don't believe for 1 second they don't have the technology to, think about a battery. All right. And now think about that battery having Bluetooth capabilities, right? So imagining having a generator and that, like Tesla. Why did they go with Edison and not Tesla? That there's so much to this that I probably should just make another channel, because I don't want to flood my crypto audience with my crazy conspiracies. And they are freaking crazy. And, I'm not saying I'm totally right. This is just what I believe. I believe there are UFOs. I believe there are aliens out there. I just think that we don't let people know about it because of the energy aspect, So that's just my opinion. Maybe it's a different reason. Maybe there's no such thing as aliens. I mean, I don't know. But Bitcoin is looking magnificent, I think. It's looking magnificent. I'm really liking the way it's shaping here, because, man, it's really good. So let's just zoom out for a second on Bitcoin here. So first of all, to me, it looks like you have 1, 2, right? 3, 4, or I shouldn't say that. I would say 4, and then I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we have 5. And inside of wave 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And inside this wave 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're about to make 5. So I think we're there. If we look a lot closer, right? Obviously, we have an impulse. We have a 3-wave correction, right? It's a flat. You got 3 down. You got 3 up. You got 5 down, right? Now we have this impulse to the upside. And we also have a 3-wave pullback. I mean, it's literally picture perfect, right? And then you have this impulse that's battling the top of the retrace wave. So at any moment, this thing can blast off. I'm not joking. It could. So here, and then the alternative to that would be, and I just don't even think it is, because the wave's getting too big. So you have 3 waves down. This could turn into 1, 2, and then we go up for 3. And then you get 3 back down, and then you go, and it becomes a bigger 3, a more complex 3, probably a running flat is what I would imagine, right? So I don't know if it's going to get that big or if we're ready to just go now, because it's looking good. So if we look at the 3-wave move, let's end it there. So let's just focus on this wave right here. If you look at just that wave right there, and we zoom in, you could see a major impulse, 3-wave pullback. You got another impulse. My question is, do we have another 3-wave pullback? Is this a 1, 2, and then another 1, 2? And then now we're just like revving up to go? I mean, I think that is totally acceptable for an idea. The alternative to this is simple, right here. Let's just use this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There's 5 waves, and then you need A. So we have A, right? And this is B, and then this is C. It's a flat. It's a running flat, right? So A, we pop the high for B, and then we come down for C. So what is that? That is a 1, 2. And now we should go up for 3. So what do you guys think about that? Be on the look. I'm going to get a members video out this week, so get ready for that. We're going to talk about rotations and targets and what if this, what if that, how would you do it in this circumstance, What would I do in this circumstance, right? And I better get going. So, I mean, let's focus a little bit even closer, right? So right now, because we can't let the bulls off the hook right away. We still have serious bearish concerns in the market, especially on the higher time frames, because this thing could still be over with, right? I now, as much as I expect and think we're going to get another wave, this is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, right? So if the fifth ended here, and this is just coming up to break the liquidity for a trap, and then we have that bear market, that could still happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but that's still a reality. And if it did happen, then I wouldn't expect a full-on bear market. I would expect a mid-cycle correction, something of a mid-cycle correction, right? And then a continuation. Because why would I expect a mid-cycle correction other than a bear market? Because the altcoins haven't even come close. Some of them haven't even come close even to the retrace levels, not even, let alone an alt season, let alone an all-time high, let alone price discovery, right? So if you look at Benjamin Cohen on YouTube and you compare the cycles, he does a good job with it. And you can see, like, we're still on track. It's still on track. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me see. Let's look closely here. 30 minutes. See, I don't like this. See how that's 3? So if that's 3 and that's 3 and that's 3, then I'm hoping that's a finished 3-way move, just like how that was finished, right? So then what's going on here? That's a good question. It's definitely choppy, right? So we could still work our way down. We're still kind of in this range that, let's see, right? If I take this here, put it right there, we could still play around in this range for a little bit before making any significant moves. Now, my big question is, what's going to be the catalyst to propel the price, right? What is the source of ammunition to lure retail in? I don't know. And I hope that we do have a narrative, because if we don't have a narrative, I don't know how we're going to get out of here. Unless it's just purely technical, we'll see. So, just looking at a few rapid fire ones here, you got 3, you got an impulse. I'm just wondering if this is going to be 3, right? Because you have a dump, you have a 3-way move. Are we going to have to come back down? It'd be like a 1, 2, 1, 2, go. And that kind of makes sense to me. So we could be seeing some downside in the future. Now, I'm bullish overall on the big picture, on the overall investment perspective picture. But from the day-to-day stuff, we could get some volatility to the downside very easily. So I don't think we can't. Theta Fuel, it's got a very interesting wave structure. Theta Fuel is very challenging to trade, so I do not trade Theta Fuel. Once in a while I do, but for me, I just trade Theta. It's a lot easier. But hodling, investing is different. So Theta Fuel, it's, you got this kind of this double bottom here. So let's see. I mean, it's the same thing with Theta, right? You got this 3-way pullback. I'm not sure if we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then go up, or if it's done now. All right, let's hurry up here. Let's keep looking. Try to keep it under an hour. Nothing really there. ICP. It's it's a little bit challenging. I mean, you get these impulse, three wave, impulse, three wave, impulse. I mean, that's a big crash right there. So, I mean, it could also be a diag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really like it as a diag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So 1, and this could be 2. Build a base. Go up for 3. Otherwise, I'm looking at this as a wave 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still need 5. Now, Theta already got the 5th. So that's why I'm thinking, well, maybe we don't need it. Right? Because a lot of them already got 5 waves. Ethereum, very important. It's looking great. Yeah, I'm bullish for sure. Look at this. You got an impulse. You got this expanded flat. You come up here. You butt up against it, and now you're breaking it. So we're back to the top of the range. So this is the range right here, right at the top. So we're literally right there. So, but remember, we came from way down here. We went up, 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 all the way to the top of the range. Do you think we're just going to keep going up? Or do you think maybe we could pull back and retest the bottom of the range first and then go up? I think that's totally acceptable and probably even likely. Because when you zoom out, you even have a bigger three-wave move here, right? There's your little three-wave move. So, yeah, it's just a matter of time, I really believe. So, yeah, Ethereum, I mean, look, 3, 3, 3. It's so perfect. Look at that. This is what I wish every chart looked like. I mean, not XRP. XRP is better because it's... XRP is this, but it's literally like 3 times as big. So, XRP versus Bitcoin is another one to keep an eye on. Look at this bad boy. And you know what? I haven't even been looking at the sequential or the bull market support band here. So, do we have any 9s? Probably do, but... so the main thing would be to get back above. You can see we're right up at the bull market support band. So we want to get back above it. We want the bull market support band to flatten out, and then we want it to rise again. So you come up, maybe you retest into it, and then continue. Everything else totally needs to get back above the bull market support band. You can see you had a 9 here on Polygon, ADA. I'm just kind of going as fast as I can. You have a 9 on the 4-day here, right? I don't like ADA though. Because it concerns me because of this descending triangle type of look. So if we come up here and then we come back down and we kind of go flat, I'm going to be very concerned that we're going to crash. We have to break this supply line or we're screwed. Because remember what I said, cupping into the resistance. This is cupping down. This is cupping down. I don't want that. I need it to cup up. So unless this is some kind of trick, some kind of fake out, we'll see. I mean, you could see back down here, we were cupping down, right? So the market is, it definitely is, at times it could be random too, right? Total 3, extremely important. Basically all the altcoins, I mean, it looks fantastic. You're above the bull market support band. You had your 3-way. Look at the 9. It called the top nicely on the 4-day. It also called the top over here, right? You have an impulse. You're flagging out. The bull market support band's leveling out. You're above it. Looks good. Expect a bigger retrace. H-bar. You know, you got a double bottom. It's looking good. 3-way pullback. Let's get back up here. Now, but if we get back up here, what is that going to do? It's going to give us a 3-wave shape. So then that's concerning, right? But once we get there, then we can reevaluate it. Let's see. Link. Same thing. Litecoin. I mean, we pretty much got the gist of everything. It's pretty much the same. I think Litecoin's going to be a showstopper too. Because look how long it's been in this range here. I mean, it's just been conforming forever. So look at all those years. I mean, this is going to be monumental if we get a big breakout. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. More on the Epstein stuff later. I talked about it in the beginning of the video if you want to check it out. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.